Hello everybody, Jack here, with my review of the Hayabusa S4. These are a beginner-friendly glove, also pretty budget-friendly for someone trying to get into boxing or Muay Thai or MMA or kickboxing, just as like a universal training glove. These go for $69.99 Canadian, and I'm pretty sure they're $60 USD. They're available on the Hayabusa website, Amazon, and I'm sure a lot of other fight shops stock these because they're pretty popular for beginners, and they probably sell well. First, we're gonna have an overview of the materials. So these have a synthetic leather because they're pretty cheap for most gloves. But the Hayabusa synthetic leather is advertised as like more durable than real leather, so I don't know. They seem to be holding up fine for me. I've been using these for about a month and a half, almost 2 months. But yeah, the leather seems to be holding up pretty good. It's an injection molded foam, so it's not quite as protective as a multi-layer foam, but it still does protect your hands pretty well. It's pretty soft. I mean, like, yeah, it's not too firm, but it's not like you're punching with a pillow. You know what I mean? With the thumb, they have the suede for like wiping sweat off your forehead or nose and all that, and I found that very useful with these. I find myself sweating a lot with these gloves since, you know, I'm working out, and they do their job very well. With the palm, it's fully mesh with these elastic straps. I found these elastic straps are already losing some of their elasticity, but they work, I guess. Yeah, they do their job. The one at the bottom less than the top, because the top one kind of keeps it all together. The stitching in these is pretty good. I got this in the pink color, so it's probably easier to see more of the stitching. There are only a couple spots where I have issues with the stitching, like here where the stitching kind of just goes off of the patch, but that's kind of what you can expect from a lower price glove. It's mostly double stitched, other than the seam on the thumb is single stitch, but I'm pretty sure that's all of the stitching. And with the lining, it's their like antimicrobial nylon or something like that. I'm not 100% sure on the specs, but yeah. These are in 14 ounces. Now moving on to my personal review of these gloves. First I'm going to start off with the pros. Well, I think the wrist support on these is phenomenal because of this very thick pad that goes, it's about 1 inch thick, goes from your wrist all the way up to your knuckle and gets bigger then. And the thumb padding is also very good. I don't find myself jamming my thumb or anything, even though they're more of a Muay Thai style glove. They're a shorter cuff. And yeah, the wrist support, yeah, is phenomenal. The padding in these is actually pretty good for it only being injection molded. I haven't really had any issues with hurting my hands. And someone who is new to the sport, I feel like, is probably more prone to that than others. And the material has not really given up. I have noticed little bits of bubbling on this, so I don't exactly know how it's going to last, but for the amount of time I've had them, they've held up fine. There's only, yeah, and with the suede thumb works, it really does. Like, it works really good. Like, I use it, I use it every day. I've been using it every day for like 2 months, month and a half, around that, and I have used this religiously, and it has helped. It saved my eyes from lots of sweat, because that isn't pleasant. What else? These open up pretty good. Since they're more of a Muay Thai style glove, you need to have a little bit of a opening so you can grab like necks and stuff for clinches. Even if you don't practice clinching with gloves, or you do it with a smaller glove or something, that's fine. But if you are like sparring and you clinch, and you know, these will do the job because your hand can open up. They have a little nylon thumb attachment. I mean, it's not great, but it is a cheap glove. Yeah. I have a couple complaints about these, and they are with the lining from about here, like above the palm up. I find is quite loose, especially in the finger compartment, and that does irritate me a lot because I'll often have to like re-grip, like even if I'm holding in a fist, I'll have to grip it just to make sure that that isn't coming up. And the grip bar is actually, I think, pretty great in this. It's not too firm, but it's in a good spot, you know. Do I have any other complaints about these? They're really hot. Yeah, that's the thing. The mesh does not do enough. These are like putting your hand in an oven, and I've heard from about other Hayabusa gloves that it's a similar problem. And this is probably going to be your best option if you get really hot hands and still want to try out a Hayabusa glove, to not move up and get the H5 or the T3, because these are, I guess, less hot if that's your issue, but the protection on a T3 or an H5 will be significantly better. So I don't think it's worth the sacrifice to move down to the S4. But for a beginner's glove, I think they're pretty good. They're gonna last you long enough to decide if you're really into kickboxing, boxing, MMA, Muay Thai, or if it's just a little thing that you want to try out. This is a great beginner's glove, but I think if you're more advanced, move up to something like a Fairtex or Twins or Rival or Venom, like the higher level stuff. Yeah, thank you for watching. This has been my review on the Hayabusa S4.